Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Joon. I'm a struggling entrepreneur like many of you guys, and I'm also a agency owner. And so I created this channel to kind of share some information and insights from my experience starting this agency out by myself without any other help, and learning a lot of things I didn't know when I was a marketer or when I was working at other agencies before starting my own. In South Korea, there's three major search engines. There's Naver, the biggest search engine, taking up around 70% of the search engine market, depending on where you're getting your information from. There is Google, of course, which everybody knows, and they take up around 30% of the search engine market. And Daum, which is owned by Kakao Group. If you didn't know about Kakao, you might have heard of Kakao Talk. Works similar, or it's like WhatsApp, Line, Viber. Kakao Group, very, very big. Anyway, Daum takes up around 10% of the search engine market. And a quick note on Daum, I think the audience on Daum is older in age. So I would say roughly 40s, late 30s and up. And also the number two, so Google, the giant, Google, it has been growing in market share quite considerably over the last several years, where Naver used to take up a big bulk of the space. I think at one point over 90% of the search engine market. So that's something to keep in mind. And today I'm going to look into the differences between Google and Naver really briefly, and how you can market on these search engines in the Korean market or for a Korean audience. So let's check it out. Alright, so I'm going to open up Google just in case there's people watching that have never been to Google, and I'm going to open up Naver on the side. So just looking at the front page of Google and looking at the front page of Naver, boom! You see there's a lot more going on Naver. Now let's do a quick search for, I just bought some running shoes, so I'm going to do a quick search on running shoes in Google. And we're going to do running shoes in English on Naver. And let's see what shows up. All right, so on Google, we have, no, I don't want to show you my location. You already know my location. So we have some ads up here, 1, 2, 3 links for the sponsored links or the Google ads. We have some shopping ads on the side, and we have maps, and then we have the links, right? And we have some questions here and suggested or related searches. And on Naver, we have the ads up here. We have 3 links. Oh, they shortened the links. We have 3 links here. We have a sidebar about COVID right now for this search. We have a dictionary just in case, because again, Koreans are using Naver. So while you and I know what running shoes are in English, average Korean might not, or Naver will think that they're looking up the word, right? So they have the dictionary, we have the Wikipedia or the encyclopedia, Naver's encyclopedia, and then we have sites. But here's where it gets different. So then we have a section called views, right? We see the new table or new section here called views. This is with blogs and cafes. Both of which, so when I say blog, I'm not talking about WordPress, Wix, and custom framework blogs. I'm talking about Naver blogs. These are Naver blogs built on the Naver CMS. And cafes, which is kind of like Reddit, but on the Naver CMS, right? They're called Naver cafes. Scrolling down more, we have apps, mobile apps. So we have Under Armour here and women's running shoes app. We have Korea's Quora, or not Korea, Naver's Quora, called Jisik-in, which is like a Q&A kind of thing. We have images, we have music, and that is the first page of the SERP for running shoes. And comparing that to Google, right? It's very different. Yeah, the ads are the same at the top for this search term on Naver, but afterwards, these are all sites that are, besides Google Maps or GMB, Google My Business, afterwards, the sites that show up, none of these are part of Google, right? So when you click on these links, if I click on Runner's World, I'm on runnersworld.com, right? I'm on a external site, external from Google. Whereas on Naver, this one, so this is the website section, which is shown relatively high compared to other Naver search results, and we'll see in a second. But most of the time, if you search for something in Korean, websites is shown at the very bottom, or sometimes not shown at all. So when we're looking at the websites are going to external, so we have Ultra, New Balance, blah blah blah, and then the views. So if I click on a view, let's click on the top view. It is a blog, and yeah, this is somebody's blog, show tip, called Shopping Tips or Shopping Tip. But it's still in Naver. It's on the Naver blog or Naver ecosystem, right? Let's try another one. So let's get out of the views. We scroll down to Chishigin. Because sometimes Quora comes up too, right? So let's see if there's any Quora. I guess if I search for a question, right? What are the best running shoes? Okay, so scratch what I said about Quora because I'm not going to practice. And again, here we're still in the Naver ecosystem. Yeah, it's the Chishigin section of Naver, but it's still Naver. And so the point I'm getting at here is that one of the key differences between Google and Naver is Google, yeah, you can run Google ads, which is within Google, and there's Google Maps or GMB, like there is Naver Places, which is like Maps. But the bulk of these SERP are external sites. And it can be a blog on WordPress. It can be a website on WordPress. It can be a custom framework website. Whatever the case, these are all leading to other sites. Whereas on Naver, most of the search term or most of the SERP is still Naver. So I'm going to type in Hoka, type it in Korean, Hoka, running shoes in Korean. And now you'll see, I'll do the search in Naver, Google as well. So Hoka running shoes. Oh, so that's an interesting difference. Google wants me to check my spelling. So here we see that actually nobody is running ads, right? Yeah, nobody's running ads for this this keyword. And we see the first page of the search results for Hoka running shoes in Korean. These are, we have some e-com platforms from Kakao as well, Kakao Commerce. We have Fashion Plus, another e-com store, SSG, a conglomerate e-com store in Korea, Gmarket, and so on. We have one blog post on T-Story, actually. And on Naver, I searched for Hoka running shoes. We have first an ad. This is different from, it's still part of Naver search ads, but they're classified as brand or power brand or brand ads. And so you can set up a little complete section here with your own thumbnails, your ad copy, other call-out extensions, and some images for your products with direct links to the products. These are more expensive, but these most of the big brands will have these, right? Nike, all of that. You can potentially have these for yourself as well. And then we get the shopping section, because you saw when we typed in English, or running shoes, we had the website section come up first. But I mentioned websites are not really shown on Naver very often. So we have Naver Shopping, and within the Naver Shopping or section, there are ads here as well. The first two posts in here are ads. Whereas on Google, we don't have like an e-com section. We have images, but there's no e-com section hosted by Google. Naver has their own shopping platform. And they also have their own, like Shopify or WooCommerce, they have their own CMS for stores. They're called smart stores, and it makes it easy. Smart stores make it very easy for Koreans or people in Korea to purchase from your store. So even if you're doing e-com in Korea, you probably have your own, let's say, Shopify store. I would still suggest creating a smart store or even getting on some of the e-com platforms like Gmarket, 11th Street, Coupang. Coupang I used a lot actually. And also Amazon has mentioned, or they signed an MOU with 11th Street. So Amazon is going to be coming into Korea maybe. I don't have the latest news on that, but that is something to look out for. And it makes it easy to purchase because one, everyone's searching on Naver. It's directly shown in Naver, and Naver Shopping, as you can see, for anything relevant to shopping items or e-com, the Naver Shopping section comes up first. And they have a thing called Naver Pay. I don't know if you can see it here, but it says Naver Pay right here. And this is like a mobile payment gateway and very easy to purchase. Just a few clicks or a few taps on the phone, and people can buy your product. And then we have the views again here. On the views, again, blogs. These are blogs and cafes. And then scrolling down, oh, here we have the websites. But if you take a look at the websites, you'll see also here the first two posts are Naver blogs, right? And then we have the cafe, one part of the cafe ecosystem for secondhand purchasing or secondhand deals. So these are all secondhand deals within the cafe system. Images, videos, and more ads at the bottom. There's another section for power links at the bottom of the page. And suggested keywords, like Google related keywords. This used to be manipulated quite often. I think it's a little better now, but it can still be manipulated. So for example, if we did running shoes, let's just say, for example, something general, you can set up macros to do 1 million searches and get your brand shown under the suggested keywords. But anyway, that doesn't matter. or you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do those kind of things. So the biggest difference. So how do you enter the Korean market? How do you make sense of Naver and what works for Naver? Because most likely it's a completely new ecosystem for you, and most of the Asian countries, probably many other countries as well. I'm not familiar with every country, but they have their own ecosystem and their own digital infrastructure and the way it works, the way the consumer thinks, and all of that. So with Google, just to put it very simply, there's really only two ways to go about it, right? I mean, of course, there's more, but just to put it simply, we have the ads, Google Ads, and SEO. So advertising and SEO are the two ways to go about it. SEO, getting your page ranked for the keywords that are relevant to your site or your business, that has good search intent, of course. And ads as well, targeting those keywords. Ads you can get up a little faster because you're paying for the spot. SEO obviously takes time, right? A very, very simplified explanation of Google, because I want to talk about Naver. And of course, GMB, right? Google My Business. With Naver, however, SEO is important, but the way SEO works on Naver a little different, because we can target, websites, right? You can build SEO for websites, but you'll see that the way Naver calculates or runs their ecosystem, or the way their algorithm works, it's not the same as Google. And you'll see that the content that usually shows up in the website section compared to the regular Google search results, it's not very contextual, not very relevant. Oftentimes you'll see a lot of spam, keyword stuffing in the meta description, or just stuff that's not what you're actually looking for. And so I don't suggest working on this, especially because you're probably already following proper guidelines and standards for optimizing your website for SEO on Google. Right. And so you don't want to factor in anything, or you're also going to be competing with people that are ranking on Naver through things that might not work on Google or penalized for on Google. So, and the other part is that the website section on Naver just don't get shown very often. And if they do, they're usually at the bottom of the page. Of course, I'm searching for some bigger keywords or more difficult keywords. If I were to search for something like, let's just say you run a restaurant in a pizza joint in Seoul, right? So I'm going to search for, good pizza joint in Seoul. So let's go look where the websites might be. We have the maps shown up first, or places. We have a new section here called newly opened places. We have the views, and we have the websites down here. And then we have news, images, and so on and so forth. So websites just don't get shown up. All the keywords I just searched, they did show up, but I don't know if something has changed or it's just the keywords that I'm searching for right now, where the keywords, the website section are showing up maybe in the 4th section. Try one more. So I searched for digital marketing agency. We have a big section on ads, because obviously there's a lot of people trying to get their ads placed here. We have the views, we have places, we have more ads in between called biz sites. We have 지식인, which is the Quora of Naver. We have images, videos, and then we have the websites at the very bottom of the page, right? And so this changes for every keyword you search for. Let me do one last one. Let's see. I'm going to type in recommended mobile phone case. We have the ads up top. We have the Naver shopping, we have the views, we have the 지식인, the Quora, we have the ads again, we have apps, and then we have websites, right? So usually at the bottom of the page. Anyway, going back to my point, so how do we get ranked, or how do we work? How do we market on Naver for the Korean market? So for Naver, again, it is advertising and SEO, but as mentioned earlier, the way SEO works is a little different, and the way ads and SEO works on Naver, it's not just one thing, right? So on Google, if you're running ads, you want your ads placed on the keywords that people search for on the SERP, where Google, the SERP is just, one page of websites. SEO as well, you want your site to be ranked for the keywords that your potential buyers are searching for, and you want to get ranked on the first page of Google, which is a simple first page or a simple page. Whereas on Naver, if you run SEO, if you're doing only SEO on websites and you try to get ranked first, you might get first page on, not even first, you need to be in the top 5. right? Top 4, this website section. And when you do get shown on it, let's say you were a pizza joint and you did get shown on the first page, or not pizza joint, let's go further. Digital marketing agency, and you get ranked on the first page of the website section on Naver. Yeah, you're in the top 4, but now you're at the bottom of the page for that keyword, right? And then let's say you were running ads. If you see on the SERP, there's maybe 10 something ads. If you click on more, there's 55 other power link ads or search ads running for Naver, right? And you're competing also against Google ads. Google ads also running ads on Naver. So that's another thing to consider. And if you're doing e-com, or if you're doing blog SEO, this is the one I usually recommend because it is not necessarily easier, but views get shown on almost every single search keyword or search result page. And Naver blog CMS is pretty much the only blogs that are shown 99% of the time. And so this is what we would suggest running, either a brand blog or working with power bloggers or influencers and getting informational, promotional content out there through best SEO practices for Naver's algorithm, which is also different from Google, and places, right? Local SEO as well. And you see on every section that we go through, there's ads. There's ads in the middle of the page. There's ads at the bottom of the page. There's ads at the top of the page. There's ads for Naver shopping. And it's not just one type either. There's brand ads here as well, right? There's search ads. There's brand ads. Between the search ads or the power links, there's different sections where they can be placed. There's ads on blogs as well, right? And if you go into shopping, let's say you're running an e-com store and you have a smart store. So this is Naver shopping, search.shopping.naver.com. And even within this page, this section, there are ads here as well. So the top 3 items, these are ads. And so, yeah, there's just ads everywhere. And on Naver blog, so this is a Naver blog, and we scroll down and we have more ads, right? You have ads shown here as well in somebody else's blog on the Naver CMS. And so, yeah, at its core, it's paid media. So you're either paying for the spot through ads or advertising, or you are building up SEO to get ranked on the search results. Same way with Naver. But the point I want to make is that there's a lot more to focus on for Naver. And the other part is that, and the understanding that you need where Google will, push people or visitors to other sites. Although they do have multiple things to kind of slow that down, like snippets and the Q&A section or the question section. People also ask section, sorry. And they do that. But with Naver, almost everything is within its ecosystem. So those are the major points I wanted to make, and I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough between Google versus Naver. Of course, there's a lot more to it, and the way the algorithm works, obviously I don't know every aspect of it, but I do have an idea, general idea of it because of my experience with the platforms, and also because it's my job and I need to prepare and be one step ahead, or try to be one step ahead, and figure out the best ways to rank content and the best ways to run ads. So I hope that was helpful. I just wanted to do a quick video between the differences on Google and on Naver. Just to recap, both paid advertising and SEO are things that you need to focus on for being shown on the SERP. However, with Google, it's a little bit simpler. What I mean by that is there's only, the first page to really think about. You want to get ranked on the first page, and you want your ad shown on the search results. For Naver, yeah, paid advertising and SEO, but there's multiple sections on the web page that you need to focus on. And so we have, regular power links, we have brand ads, we have power content ads, we have shopping ads, we have local SEO on places or Naver maps. We have power links and ads in the middle of the page, at the bottom of the page, on other people's blogs, and so on. So there's a lot more to focus on. You can't reach all of them, but you have good understanding of, where your potential customers are or your buyers' personas are, and work on a strategy that fits that, right? So you need to let some of the things go. Perhaps places is not the right for you, or you're not doing e-com. You don't have to focus on Naver shopping or a Naver smart store. However, you should also understand which keywords are usually showing which sections of Naver, right? So those are also things to focus on as well. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, and thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.